Hi, everyone. Welcome to this series of Tatler Talks, Flutter for Change, brought to us by Tatler Philippines and Clean Reserve. I'm Anne Gauthier, your host. And today we will talk about scents and sustainability. As an eco-conscious and sustainable fragrance collection, Clean Reserve is sponsoring earthday.org. Clean Reserve, founders of the clean beauty movement, has launched the Flutter for Change movement and continues to support earthday.org in their initiative to help protect the planet. Last year, they focused on bees, and this year, they're focusing on one of the planet's most important inhabitants, the beautiful butterflies. So, for 2 consecutive years, Clean Reserve aims to bring awareness to the significance of protecting our planet, putting a spotlight on the Earth's pollinators. Because did you know that worldwide there is an alarming decline in pollinator populations due to pesticide use and habitat loss? Butterflies, like all pollinators, are vital for healthy plants, flowers, and ecosystems. So, to help raise awareness of the importance of protecting butterflies, Lush Fleur has been released in a limited edition package design adorned with butterflies. And you can see it on the screen right now. And with that, today, we have gathered advocates of environmental preservation and sustainable living to join us. First, we have Pam Quiñones, founder of styling firm Curator Studios, and is one of the purveyors of sustainable fashion in the country. Hi, Pam.
Hi, Anne, and hi, everyone. Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad you're here. Next, we also have Rissa Mananquil Trillo, award winning entrepreneur, beauty expert, author, wife, mom, and advocate. Hi, Rissa.
Hi, Anne. Thanks for having me today.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And also with us is Cherrie Atilano, sustainable food systems warrior and farmer, best friend of the bees, butterflies, earthworm, water, sun, and earth. UN High Level Ambassador for Nutrition. She is studying in Stanford University for Global Sustainable Leadership as a scholar of the World Economic Forum. Wow. Hi, Cherrie.
Hi, Anne, and I'm so lucky to be with Pam and Risa, some of the wonderful ladies I'm always following social media, by the way.
It's so wonderful to see all of your faces here. And I'm so happy you could join us today. And I'm looking forward to our discussion. But before we get into that, can we please? I want to share with everyone something that's exciting. We have a raffle, and that we are looking for 3 winners today who will give us the best answer to the question: how does perfume boost your confidence? So type in your answers in the chat box because the winners will receive a full bottle of Clean Reserve fragrances. And again, there will be 3 winners for this. So please, to our viewers, join in and we look forward to your answers. And before we start the talk, let's take a closer look at the brand's conscious and sustainable campaigns. Everyone, please watch this.
We consider it an honour to partner with companies that support small farming communities around the world, whether they're offering fair trade prices, funding for schools or clean drinking water, teaching regenerative farming practices, or maintaining age-old techniques. Your purchase helps to fund schools in Ecuador, drinking water in Haiti, and regenerative farming in the Amazon, to name a few. And since 2019, we are proud sponsors of earthday.org, supporting their Protect the Species campaign, so the pollinators are getting your help too. What this means is that every time you spritz one of your beautiful Clean Reserve fragrances, you are contributing to sustainability, regeneration, and fair trade.
I love the advocacy. So, to our viewers, how are you feeling? Have you been typing in your answers to our raffle question? Please go for it, okay? Also, if at any point during our discussion coming up next, you find yourself wanting to ask a question to these three amazing ladies, please feel free to type your questions in the chat box because we are going to have a Q&A after our talk. Okay, it's now time to chat with our esteemed guests. Hi again, Pam, Rissa, and Cherrie. So let's start with finding out first, what have you ladies been up to? How are you? Pam, can we start with you?
Hi, Anne. I'm good. I have been very busy, actually. So, as you said earlier, we run Curator Studio, which is a styling company. So, we have a few stylists who do different projects. And since the easing of the lockdowns, we have been doing a lot of projects. It's pretty good, but also we're trying to be very careful about the number of projects we take on, and being in shoots physically. I also started Vestido, as you mentioned earlier. We're pushing for sustainability in fashion in the country. We started a fashion rental site and rental space. So Vestido Manila is the brand that we have, and I can share more about it later.
That's incredible. I mean, such a great advocacy. Thank you. How about you, Risa?
Well, I'm good. Thanks for asking. I guess what's been keeping me busy is I first exited my former business. It's a business decision I made. When you start up a business, sometimes it's time to move on, and I'm planning for what's next for me. And I've been enjoying it because I think for the first time in how many years, I can have my 100% time with my family while enjoying time with them, being out in nature. And I've also been doing other things that I can't just share yet.
That's exciting. Okay. With a little bit of suspense there. But yes, it's always nice to spend time with family. How about you, Cherry? Work, family?
What keeps me busy right now is, of course, I've been farming a lot in the Philippines. And I think during this pandemic, we just have been expanding our operations, especially on regenerative agriculture. I really, really want to champion regenerative agriculture not only in the Philippines, but also globally. And on the side, I'm like studying that Stanford Global Leadership. That's actually keeping me busier at night because it's like, you need to wake up until almost after midnight to finish that. But I'm very happy. There are so many challenges because of this pandemic, but it's a privilege to also help more farmers along the way.
That's amazing. I mean, all you ladies have touched a bit of on sustainability, and we're gonna get right into that just a little bit later on, because again, today is all about sense and sustainability. But before that, let's jump into scents. They say smells or scents have a stronger link to memory and emotion than any other senses. So to begin, how are the scents related? How are scents related to your most memorable experiences in life? Risa?
Well, like you said, for me, fragrance should always evoke a memory. For me
Mm.
personally, I have favorite scents that remind me of our wedding or being a new mom, or even scents that remind me of certain trips I've taken with my family or my friends. And, they say perfume is truly an art that allows memories to speak. But for me, I think fragrance is also special because every time you wear it, it doesn't just evoke a memory. When it lingers, it also leaves a part of yourself with others too.
I love that. How about you, Pam?
I can share. I think scents in general and fragrance are very personal to us. I never leave home without a scent, actually. Like, I always put on perfume. Sometimes it might be too much. Sometimes it's actually very light. I mean, it really depends on who I'm with and who's complaining. But I can share.
Who's
Sometimes you need to
complaining?
overpower yourself with scent because it makes you feel confident, makes you feel
Yeah.
great about yourself. But I think A lot of my memorable experiences in life are connected to fashion. So it's usually what I wear, and because I'm heavily rooted in this industry, but it's also about what I smell. So it's not necessarily the fragrance itself or the perfume, but it's just what you smell. So two memorable experiences I'd like to share are, one is when my husband proposed to me on top of a mountain. So I was never really an athletic, outdoorsy person. So that was a very memorable experience, to be sweating, um, hiking for 4 hours up in the mountains. So when he finally proposed, it was a mix of obviously joy, but I think the scent of overpowering smell of sweat, of grass, and I think a little bit of tobacco, because at the time I was smoking. So that whiff of tobacco and all of that scent actually stayed in my memory, together with all the physical and mental memory that I have of
That's
that moment.
amazing. I would not have thought of that for a proposal,
Yeah,
right?
I cannot forget about that. And then the second one was when I was able to sit down and interview my fashion legend, who was Azadine Alaya. And that time when I sat down with him, I was in the kitchen with him. So they were cooking. So the food was amazing. So I could remember the smell of chicken, but at the same time, it was masked, was veiled in the scent of his new fragrance. So at the time, they were just about to launch his fragrance. And all of that are part of my memory of that very memorable experience.
I love how you put chicken and sweat, and you make it seem so romantic and beautiful.
Yeah.
But it just shows how important smell is. And because for me, eucalyptus, peppermint, that is something that makes me think. Because Risa, when you mentioned when you had your baby, something with my mom, like just that smell, it's something that she always puts on me to give me comfort when I'm sick. And it's always just been so comforting for me. How about you, Cherry? Any
I love
particular smell?
Yeah, I actually love this conversation. I just want to add to Pam. Pam, actually, the smell of the sweat, it's called pheromone. That's where the bees and the butterflies are after. And especially the male bees running after the female butterflies, right? Because of
Wow.
the smell of sweat. Yeah, that's the scientific. I think your husband, that entire moment is becoming sexier because of that. For me, my most memorable experience, because our house in Bacolod is actually near a sugarcane milling facility. Every time it's sugar milling time, I would go run to our garden because everything smells so sweet. And I would just go in the garden, sit there, pick a santan flower, and I eat. You remove the stick from a santan petal flower, and then I even sip the juice because it's so sweet that it's irresistible. And another one, while I was sitting there, because it smells so good of the sweetness of sugar mill, and it's a morning dew, a lot of bees and butterflies would come around and swarm around me, and it's like the most memorable experience. And another one, memory, I was actually just in Italy in July and August, and a friend of mine, he drove me to his vineyard. And when I was driving his vineyard, I was asking him, can we just like turn off the aircon and put the windows down? Because everything smells so minty and there's no even mint planted. And then he stopped the car, and then we went to the grass, we had a chill, and he picked like a random mint weed from the ground, and then he put it on my nose, and it's so memorable, it's so romantic, and until now, every time I feel sad, I remember that smell of the mint and the sugar meal. And another one in my room, I don't know, I really love perfume and aromatherapy. Every corner is like candle or essential oils because I just really love it. Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much, Cherry. You really mixed everything from. Thank you for giving us a scientific explanation to what Pam went through, and at least she'll always have that attachment with her husband. But also just the nature of everything, and talking about bees and butterflies. And speaking of butterflies, I believe you all received, right, the Lush Fleur fragrance. Could you share with us what your thoughts were on this fragrance, this particular fragrance? Pam?
So I just grabbed it. I'm actually wearing it. I did a bit of layering as well. So I was able to receive Lush Fleur and Skin. My initial reaction to Lush Fleur is that it's very floral, and again, it reminds me of spring. It reminds me of um, meadows and grasslands. So I really like it, but it also reminds me of like my mom's garden back home. I'm not heavy on just plainly floral scent. So I really enjoyed that I was able to layer it with the floral musk. I think in general, as I, got older and got more, I guess, got to really know myself, I, I enjoy fragrances that are sort of like somewhere in between masculine and feminine. So I enjoy that the floral musk scent of Skin works well with that of Lush Fleur, which is fresh floral.
I love that. You're already talking about different layerings, which we'll discuss later on in even further detail, because I feel like that's so important as you grow older. And it's not just only your experiences, but it's also as you grow older, you want different, like, variety, a bit
Yeah,
more.
and you kind of like come into your own, personal scent, right?
Yes, and we are definitely going to discuss that later on. How about you, Cherry, about the Lush Fleur? What were your thoughts on the smell?
I feel feminine and confident in wearing it. And somehow, since I received this, it's kind of addictive. I keep spritzing myself like every morning. I put it beside my bed because sometimes, you just really want to feel so loved when you wake up. You want to immerse in that essence of love and
Oh, that's so
security.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, and this smell, I keep spritzing it every morning, and I was meditating, and it keeps like going through my nose, and I just love it so much. And another one, I think this is like the perfume I want to wear every day because it's so fresh, it's so light, especially during daytime.
Definitely is. How about you, Risa?
Well, to be honest, when it comes to fragrances, I'm not a very floral type of person
Mhm.
when it comes to scents, but this one, I was surprised that I really, really liked it a lot. It smelled so good, fresh, delicate, and still feminine because of the floral scent. But at the same time, I guess the way I would describe it is it's like it smells like it was made still for an independent woman, even if it smells fresh or soft or delicate. It's
I
still
love
something an independent or strong woman would wear. In fact, while we talk about fragrance, there's this saying that goes that they say a woman's perfume tells more about her than her handwriting. That's why I think many of us are always so picky what scent we should be wearing for the day, or what you want to communicate, or how you want to feel.
because it's so important. It changes everything, which I'll get back to you on that later on, because how you want to feel, that is something I think it's so important to talk about in terms of sense. But before that, Cherry, so just now in general, for you, you've spoken about different scents of mint, of herbs. How do you choose a perfume normally for for special occasions, for example?
Usually, of course, it depends on my mood, but more importantly, of course, of time. So, for example, if it's daytime, I would usually choose like a lighter, fresher perfume. And especially if I'm with my mom, she doesn't like stronger perfume for me. And at night, if I go out on a date or party with friends, I want like more citrusy or stronger or oriental or a little bit richer and heavier. And sometimes if I really feel like down, of course, sometimes you just feel like down at most of the time. I like the scent of floral and sweetness because I always connect it to my childhood memory of going to the garden, being swarmed with butterflies and bees, and relishing and reminiscing with the sugar meal sweetness. So I always go back to the comfort.
I love that. So you also use scents to change your a particular mood, right? And I remember Risa, you just mentioned that a while ago. So Risa, how do you use scents to change a particular mood? Is there a particular instance and how you've done that before?
Oh yes, definitely. Like for me, I treat fragrance like a part of my wardrobe, and I choose what to wear based on my mood, just like Cherry, or where I'm going, what I'm wearing, or even the weather. And I have favorite scents that I use for every day, something for attending meetings, or a special one for events, or even for family gatherings and outdoors. But I think the way fragrance has really changed my mood, or how it became such a powerful tool to change all of our moods, was during the pandemic, because fragrances has became more important than ever during the pandemic. People would use scents to escape and travel to another place because scents would remind them of memories, different memories. And I think more importantly, the right fragrance or scent has a way to uplift moods or even prepare you for a long day, which is so important to well-being and self-care.
That's really nice. And you're right, especially during this pandemic. How would you choose the right fragrance for you depending on that day? Is there a certain formula that you do on how to do that?
No, I don't really have any formula. Sometimes I'll match it to how I'm feeling or my mood. Sometimes I'll match it to even the colors of what I'm wearing. It will remind me of a certain bottle or fragrance. So it's really like a part of the wardrobe for me.
That's nice. And Pam, how about you? Do you use it to change a particular mood?
Actually, I second everything that Risa said. It's very similar to my experience during the pandemic. It's even gotten to a point wherein I think in the first month of the lockdowns in March, when everyone was just staying at home, I made an effort to always wear fragrance. I felt that it made me feel like I was continuing with my day like it was before. And it also made me feel happier, like almost like a form of escape. So
Yeah.
I actually did that. I mean, you're just at home and you always feel kind of blah when, especially the first few months of the pandemic. So that really helped a lot with boosting my energy. I think whenever I felt like I wanted to go out, but I couldn't go out, so I would just spritz something citrusy, and I would always feel energized. Or there are nights when I would feel like I wanted to escape and feel like I'm mentally traveling. I would spritz on kind of like a heavier, sexier perfume, and then I would light a candle and turn on some Cuban music. So sort of like it's part of the equation of creating an environment. So that's how we do it. And also, on a normal day now, I love the scent of eucalyptus. It relaxes me in the evenings.
Yeah, eucalyptus is just something else, right? It
Yeah.
really gives me comfort. When you're speaking about that, the different scents, so citrus, I absolutely love that. Do you have, especially being in fashion, do you have a scent character? Is there one that like Pam comes out with and it's like, this is it. This is my morning. This is my evening.
Yeah,
Is there
it is
a
like
particular
I think it's weird because I never really believe in rules, like what should is there a morning scent or an evening scent, a special occasion scent. I always go back to this masculine feminine scent because I'm never really too feminine and I'm also never too masculine. So I like to always have a scent that sits in between. And my character, I would say, if I could put it into word, would be androgynous. Maybe that's what it is.
love it? Wow, I just have very strong, powerful women around me. With even Risa mentioning like her perfume is a strong, independent woman. I love that. I love it. Anyone else? Risa, Cherry, a signature, a particular character scent.
Well, for me, like I said, I was never, much into florals. I think I'm more like Pam. I like strong scents, but I don't shower or bathe myself in it. For me, whenever I wear a scent, I like it. The strength is only those who are super near me or who hug me can smell it. It's not like the scent
Ooh.
precedes me when I enter a room. I'm not that kind of person. So maybe the people who are close to me or around me will be the ones to remember how I smell and will associate me to that smell.
That's so nice. I would never have thought of that because it really depends on the person, right? Or it depends on the mood you're feeling. Sometimes you want to leave a trail when you're walking by, and then that one is just so beautiful. How about you, Cherry? Is it more of you want to leave a mark, or just your close ones? Any particular scent character?
I'm more of a citrusy or sometimes a mixed floral, but same with Risa. Only few people would know that, oh, Cherry's actually in the room because of this scent, you know. So it's his presence, but only to few people who have been. It's like your signature smell. Actually, it's like, sometimes when we smell like a baby, right? There's a certain smell to a baby that we really love. So a lot of my friends and even family, they would always like hug me. I don't know, because there's a certain smell that they know that it's me. So I don't know actually what that smell, because I couldn't smell myself much. But same with Risa, only few people would know that it's like a signature. Like Cherry is like present in this room. I would know.
That's nice. And with that, because you were all mentioning before that you're not necessarily too floral, but you like all this mixing and matching, citrus, floral, musky. So Clean Reserve has a wonderful range of different fragrances. Risa, what do you find unique with Clean Reserve fragrances? Could you share your experience with us?
Well, the first time I remember I encountered the fragrance clean was so many years ago. I remember it was such a bold brand that offered scents that smell like as if you just stepped out of the shower. It was fresh, clean, bagong ligo smell, and it was so different from what everyone offered. And I find the brand amazing because the word clean right now means so much more than the scent. For them, the word clean is already their way of doing business, especially for this clean reserve line, which focuses on sustainability. So I really love that they consider their impact on the earth, where they source ingredients, they partner with small farming communities and make sure to practice fair trade. And even the experience of opening the bottle. There's no excessive packaging, which is also one of the concerns in the beauty industry. And it's
So
very
beautiful.
eco-conscious.
Clean, very clean.
Eco-consciousness, yeah, really guides their creation from start to finish and end to end. It's really a commitment. And you can really tell that it's intentionally sourced with the people and planet in mind. So I love how the evolution of the clean brand has gone from more than just a scent to now clean in, not just their sense, but even their way of doing business.
I love that. Just especially coming from you when in the business world that like what you mentioned, they do it with commitment. And what I also love is also what Pam mentioned earlier, which touched upon, is that there's this sense of layering or pairing, especially as we just want to constantly evolve and create our own little layering philosophy of our own and our own signature scent. And we can do that with Clean Reserve. The brand's classic and reserve collections are made to be mixed, matched, and layered together, which is fantastic. Uh, Cherry, Pam, did you experience that? Have you tried any of the layerings?
Maybe I can add.
Cherry?
Yes. So I really love mixing mixing, matching, and layering perfumes ever since. And I guess this is the beauty of Clean Reserve, right? That this scent is actually not new to all of us in terms of freshness and things like. But the beauty in here is the more you layer. I've been really learning that you just really need to dub it, not some perfume you need to rub. But this one, as what Riza is saying, it was really designed with great intent, meaning even in how to allow the perfume to breathe. I was experimenting layering here. Like, for example, when I was rubbing my wrist, I feel like the perfume couldn't breathe and it smells differently. And then I did a little bit of experiment. I
Really?
Yeah, I layered them and then
Try
I
that.
dabbed them. I dabbed them and I said, wow, it smells differently. It sticks a little bit longer. So I guess it's like the little scientist in me that loves experimenting. But it's really, you try that. I said, like, the more you rub it, the more I think it couldn't breathe. And designing with intent, not just from the sourcing, which I love so much because they love regenerative farming, helping farmers with fair trade, but really even how to apply the perfume. What's the best layering and matching? And it's so nice to use a perfume that is not only eco-conscious, but with intent, with great intention.
And did you get anyone did you try, which ones did you try in particular?
I have the Radiant Nectar. So when
Oh, I
I
have
actually
that one too. I have that one
when,
too.
when
It's so nice, right?
so beautiful. So when I was right now, we're building a bee farm in one of our farms in Marinduque, and this is like the smell of summer. And all our mulberry trees are flowering, and the bees are actually swarming. This is it. They captured it in a bottle, but it's really like the smell sometimes that, when I go to the farm, I want to bottle it. I want to harvest all the juice from
And
mulberry
remember it, capture it.
flowers and just like get it and bring it home. So when I got it and I was like, wow, this is it. I really love it. And yeah, so I started layering them, but I really advise you dub it, not rub it, because the more you dub it, the more it lasts longer. And I think the perfume scents could breathe better and it smells better also.
Nice. That's a great tip. Thank you. How about you, Pam? Because you were mentioning layering a while ago, and I'm sorry I did not get you. You didn't get to expound much on it.
That's okay. I think I wanna say too, because Risa mentioned it earlier, that clean was something, as a fragrance, was something that we heard about and we experienced many years ago. That was also a very revolutionary brand, right? So I think I had the exact same experience with Risa, that we felt that, wow, this fragrance is sobrang different. Kasi a lot are very heavy. And then there was this fragrance that came into the market that was just very light, fresh, that really worked with our tropical weather. So I have to admit that I never really got to know so much about the clean line, the clean reserve line. And I'm so lucky and happy to be able to be introduced to the lines now, because when I got my kit and I was given the Lush Fleur with Skin, which is a reserve blend, I really enjoyed the scents. And with our tropical weather that is just getting more humid and it's so hot, I feel that with layering or alone, the fragrances actually smell so good. I spritzed on Skin earlier with Lush Fleur, and so I live in BGC and I walk a lot, and I didn't feel like I smelled maasim or I smelled gross. So I love that. I love that about the lightness of Clean Reserve.
But it also stays with you, right? I mean,
It
I've
does, yeah.
had it all day and it's just staying there.
I actually have another tip. I think Cherrie told us about dabbing it and not really rubbing. I learned that you can also spritz your perfume um, on a cotton ball, and
Oh.
and have, I think I read it somewhere, like a book by Coco Chanel, like a long, long time ago. Again, connected to fashion. I remember
These are
sort
good
of like
tips. Thank
doing
you.
it. Yeah, like spritzing it on a cotton ball and putting it in your bra. And you
Oh,
can, because
I'll
because it really absorbs the scent.
so we just have to put in our bras. I'm gonna try that.
Right. I think it's also sexy.
If it falls off, I'll just
Well, that doesn't
apologize
matter.
to
Yeah.
whoever I'm with. Thank you for that tip. I really appreciate it. So we have talked a lot about scents. Now, I think it is important because I know it's near and dear to your hearts, all you three ladies. What does sustainability mean to you? Um, Risa?
Well, when I hear the word sustainability, I think most of us, what always comes to mind is we think about ingredients or the way something is produced, where it comes from, or how it's packaged. But for me, what people forget about sustainability is that it also means your lifestyle and beauty habits. Something sustainable is something you can commit to long term. For example, you have a habit of, for example, there's this sunblock you really like, but it doesn't fit your budget. You'll never get into the habit of wearing sunblock every day if it's not sustainable. To buy that every month, it's too much of an expense. Or maybe you go for something in your beauty routine that or a gadget that breaks easily. It's also not sustainable. So for me, sustainability isn't just about ingredients or how a product is produced. It's also us, the consumers, how your lifestyle and beauty habits are, and you have to commit to something long term. And even this, big buzzword in the world of business and, environment and all kinds of businesses, the word sustainability, if you do want to practice something, whether as a consumer or as a business, it has to be something you can commit to long term. Otherwise, you're just going to drop out of that lifestyle habit, that eating habit, or that beauty habit. And I guess ultimately doing good isn't just one time. It has to be something that's consistent and long term. And if I can share as a mom, sustainability also gives a different meaning for me. Sustainability for me is about that every decision I make, whether personally or professionally, it's really more my children I think about and the generation that comes after them. So it's really forward thinking. There's this quote or this saying that goes, that we don't inherit the earth from our ancestors. We are actually just borrowing it from our children.
Risa, your quotes, I think we can just like frame them. They're just so impactful. And I really love um, the fact that you do mention about our kids. We don't think about that often enough. And commitment. The word commitment, I think you've mentioned quite a few times, and we completely take that for granted. So thank you for that tip. I think even businesses really need to think about that. How about you, Cherry?
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with Risa actually, because sustainability is really about that. It needs to be easy and simple for you to do. And of course, especially in the Philippines, right? A lot of people are really talking about sustainability, and for me, being an entrepreneur in the agriculture sector, for me, sustainability is something that the farmers actually, I'm not teaching them. They need to teach to me, because there's so much sustainability that we know. It was just abused for so many years, and it's something that I really want to learn from them more and more. And lastly, for me, sustainability is connected to Riza. It's really about intergenerational well being. Like, for example, what you feel that you can get right now, and you can commit yourself with great intention, and how your next generation and the next generation can also adopt that one. It's really about having that shift and transformation in intergeneration. And lastly, um, I've been talking a lot about the sustainability thing, right? And right now, actually, I share a bit that I'm learning in my Stanford studies. It's really about redesigning. It's not only about our DNA of design, but really about asking all of us on a personal level and on our organization level, or what profession we have, what kind of sustainability DNA you like to have. Because all of us, you have certain DNA, right? But in your lifestyle, what kind of sustainability do you want to have? In your business, what kind of sustainability you want to have? And in your family, what kind of sustainability DNA you want to have? And with that DNA, it's really about focusing on being easy. You need to make it accessible. You need to make it affordable, because if it's not accessible, if it's not affordable, it's really something that it's so hard to commit in the long term.
I love that. In your DNA. That is something to remember. How about you, Pam?
I couldn't agree more with Cherry and Risa, but I think my journey to sustainability is started a few years ago, but I think the concept of the word is very vague and very intimidating for a lot of people, and it was also for me back in the day. But now it's become more and more personal and simpler and simplified. I think the key to sustainability, or how to have a more sustainable lifestyle, is to just be very mindful about all the small decisions and choices you make every day. So these are choices that could be better for you, better for the people around you, or better for the planet. And these are very small choices that could affect, bigger changes. I think that it starts with that. It could start with as simple as you always bringing, or me always bringing, a shopping bag whenever I go to the supermarket, and making it a very consistent practice that it becomes automatic. I don't even think about it anymore, and I feel good every time I do it. It can even go bigger with our choices of more sustainable products and brands, or it can be even way more personal, like my relationship with my clothes and how Vestido came about. So the whole idea of it was, as a stylist, for so many years, we're always amassing a lot of clothes and just buying whatever is new and whatever is fashionable, or the it brand, or cult products. And then you get to a point where you realize you just have so many clothes.
Mhm.
And all these clothes don't really have a special relationship with their owners or their wearers, which is why there's so much excess, which is why we look at fashion as a throwaway industry. We look at fashion as a throwaway product, and it shouldn't be like that. So I think my journey, sort of like circling back to the beginning is of my journey to sustainability, is really about having this personal relationship to the product, having this relationship and conversation, and saying, if I buy you now, I will have a relationship with you. I will wear you for the next 10 to 15 years. I mean, it should just be like that. So it's very simple statements like that I think we should make as people, versus bigger statements about sustainability.
Thank you. You girls gave such incredible advice between commitment, DNA, and really just having a personal relationship to the items that you're purchasing. It's just so important to remember that fashion doesn't go against sustainability, right? And speaking of that, with fashion, like you mentioned before, perfume also comes hand in hand, right, with fashion. So how do you see the importance of sustainability in a perfume, Risa?
Well, Pam mentioned that, of course, the fashion industry also plays a role in sustainability. So does the beauty industry, and something like a perfume. Um, I guess when it comes to perfume, I think one of the things I would look for, well, in any brand, is transparency, zero waste packaging, or if it's ethically manufactured. But on the consumer end, every time we buy a perfume, or as a woman or anyone trying to buy perfume, I guess you don't look at just how something is produced, but we have to also think about how we consume it. For example, as a consumer, I think we kind of have to have that discipline when we shop. Like when Pam mentioned a while ago, it's about a relationship. When you buy a piece of clothing, you'll have this 10 to 15 or infinitely long relationship with a piece of clothing. The same way with beauty products. Personally, I make it a point not to buy until, let's say, my body lotion or facial wash is about to run out, because there's so much excess. And you try to be a more mindful consumer when you do that. Sometimes a lot of us get this impulse, oh, I'm going to hoard or I'm going to buy a lot because there's a sale, or even if you haven't finished what you have, you already buy so much. And by the time you're about to use it, it's expired. And that's not sustainable at all. So I think the more intelligent way to shop, which is also good for the planet, is to use what you have first. Whether it's in the kitchen, gardening, fashion, beauty, that's one of the easiest ways you can be a more sustainable person. Finish what you have first before buying something, or look at home what you already have before purchasing something more, because there's so much excess in the planet and we don't want to add to that.
And if I can add to what Risa said, and I think it's also sharing what you have. So if you feel like, you have like half full bottle of perfume and you're kind of like getting sawana with it, you can share it with your sister. Well,
Wow.
yeah, exactly. Or you swap, or me and my husband actually share perfume all the time because I like a more
Smart.
masculine scent. So I think this whole idea of swapping, sharing, or even giving they're very simple things, but they're also one step towards, our journey to sustainability.
That is so smart. It's true. It's all about sharing. And just when we mentioned, that was something I never did before, to be honest, like the layering and pairing. That's something you can also do, right? If you have just a little bit to just try it out and see how it goes. How about you, Cherry?
I love the entire conversation because in listening to Pam, who's in fashion, and Risa is in beauty, and I'm in farming, there are no clothing with our cotton farmers, right? So beauty products and perfume without all the raw materials coming from agriculture. I could really see that, with all the things that's happening right now, it's really about having that sense of making sustainability, and even in this perfume, not just extraordinary, because sometimes people, oh, he has a perfume, or it makes a lot of people making it extraordinary. What I want to do is, let's make it ordinary the way we want sustainability be ordinary. It needs to be part of a lifestyle, but I think sometimes there's still a notion that, oh, having that lifestyle of sustainability is expensive. Especially here in Metro Manila, it's only for the yogi and the yoga people. And I was like, ouch, ouch. I'm a big sustainability advocate. It should not be like that, right? But same with perfume. I live with my mom. We have this table where we put all our perfume together. When she shops, I shop. We put our perfume together. And we have a rule that we only buy perfume when there's like a certain ml remaining, but it needs to be really like finished.
Oh,
And
nice.
another, yes, yeah, we always have, because you keep buying, especially when you travel a lot, you always pass by a store somewhere and you keep on hoarding. There are on sale. So we put like a limit ourselves. We will not buy unless a certain perfume is of certain amount. And another one, I guess, I think that I need to add for this Clean Reserve, the packaging, the simple, the better, right? And its simplicity exudes so much sustainability. That's what I want to say.
I love that. Thank you so much, girls. We're learning so much. And I just want to remind our viewers that we will be having a quick Q&A afterwards. So please type in your questions. I'm sure you have a lot because there's just too much to learn from these ladies. So please go ahead, type them in, and we will be asking them after this last question. So, with this last question, ladies, what are your thoughts on Clean Reserve Flutter for Change movement? How do you find butterflies as a symbol for change? Pam?
Oh, um, I
It's so symbolic, right? There's a symbology with it.
Can I pass on this question and maybe give it to Cherry?
I love that. Uh,
Sure.
this close to home, and I really want to connect it to Risa and Pam a while ago that you need to make it personal. And this one is too personal for me because our first work in one island economy, in agri is actually Marinduque. And Marinduque is the capital of butterflies in the Philippines. Before the pandemic, we used to host a butterfly congress in the world where we gathered 31 countries and scientists and entomologists to come to Marinduque Island, the heart of the Philippines, to celebrate Bila Bila Festival or the Butterfly Festival. So this is so close to my heart that because of that, right now we're really focusing on how do we preserve this butterfly, how do we preserve this beautiful mariposa, not losing its way, right? But at the same time, it's also giving so much livelihood to people on preserving butterfly because they need to plant more trees. They need to plant more vegetables and the vegetables will flower. They need to plant more flowers and ornamentals that could support this butterfly. So for me, this Clean Reserve Flutter for Change is such a big move, not only close to home, but globally, globally. I know last time they're focusing on bees and we're counting the number of bees and the years that the world will end, right? Depending on the population of the bees. But right now with this butterfly, I really feel that I want to connect also during this pandemic that this is so memorable and so fitting because butterfly, we talk about metamorphosis. And the process of metamorphosis, it seems like the past 2 years we were put in a cocoon all of a sudden. We're chipping our wings, we put in a cocoon, and now we need to metamorph to be better, to be bolder. And for me, this is timely in terms of
That's
pandemic.
so
And
beautiful. It's so symbolic.
yeah, you're put in a cocoon and you do the process of metamorphosis. It's either you go better or you go not better, but there's no single butterfly that did not come out from that cocoon beautifully, did not come out from that cocoon with beautiful colors. So hopefully this Platter for Change message is a message of metamorphosis, that we cannot just go bigger, but we need to be better when we come out.
That's so beautiful. I mean, there's just really something about butterflies, right? And did any of you, I mean, even Pam, Risa, did you grow up with an idea, even just of butterflies, that image of butterflies? Risa?
Well, with your question earlier and now about the butterflies, I think it's really a fitting symbol for the Clean Reserve Flutter for Change. And since the Clean Reserve line is all about sustainability, sustainability is so important now more than ever. But we have to admit, it's not easy to pivot to, whether personally or professionally. And we're all just learning from one another. And sustainability really requires the combined effort from everyone. It's a slow and beautiful process, just the same way a caterpillar transforms into a butterfly. That's why I think the butterfly is so fitting and perfect for Clean Reserve.
Especially for during this pandemic, and we've all been through such crazy times. And there are going to be positives out of all of this. Pam, any just last thoughts?
I love what Cherry said about metamorphosis and how it's so symbolic of the pandemic, and what a great symbolism for Clean Reserve, Flutter for Change. I really love that. And I also learned a lot from you, Cherry. I love how beauty and fashion and science are coming together today. It's just so beautiful.
Thank you so much, ladies. I've really learned a lot from all of you. And I know that our viewers are dying to ask questions. So let's now open the floor for questions from our FB Live audience. Okay, the first one is from Jazz. I spray perfume on my collar and it makes wearing masks bearable. Weird.
This is a funny question.
The question is weird. Weird word, right?
If I may, there's nothing weird about where you want to put your perfume, to be honest. You can put it anywhere.
I
And
agree. I agree. I mean, a lot of French people, they always put it in their scarf, and
yeah,
they always have a scarf on them, winter or summer. But thank you so much, Jazz. No one else wants to answer that question, right? Just anywhere. We agree.
Anywhere.
yes, anywhere.
Anywhere, Jazz. Okay, our next question is from Philip Kunyang. Scents also trigger memories. Is that a conscious thing these women try to achieve as they personalize a fragrance? Hmm. Okay. Anyone would like to take this on? Cherry?
Oh wow! I was sharing this a while ago, going back to my childhood, right? Because every time I'm sad, I always spray a floral or something sweet perfume to push me back when I was 3 years old in a garden of my mom during sugarcane milling season. Because everything is so sweet and the environment is so nice and kind and comforting. So yeah, when I was having that with Mesh Pro, actually, it somehow captures that kind of moment. That's why for the past days since I received this package, I keep spraying it every time I wake up because it captures that memory of childhood.
I love that. Risa?
Well, when we have our memories with certain fragrances, it's because it depends when we wear it. Or uh, a certain scent will remind us of a memory, like for Cherry, her childhood. But I think even if a scent doesn't get connected to a memory, there are memories that can be created as you wear a new scent. I have scents that remind me of my teen days, maybe in the 90s, that every time I wear it, I feel like I'm brought back to the 90s. And they
Yeah,
still, there you can you don't scents can give you memories and you associate it with certain memories, but even wearing a new scent, you can create memories with it.
I love that.
Yes.
Create memories with it. And Pam?
So is it a conscious thing that we try to achieve as we personalize a fragrance? I think it's not a very conscious action if you want to evoke or to trigger memories, but I think it's more you choosing fragrances without you knowing that it actually is connected to a memory, usually a great memory. So this is why I think you choose a certain fragrance because it connects to a very positive, a very elevating memory of yours. So I think this is also why I love a very masculine, feminine fragrance, whether it's a fragrance I have now, if I want to do another or explore another brand for example, or a new fragrance, it will always be something masculine and feminine. Why? Because I feel like it connects to certain memories of mine that are pretty remarkable. And I think it will always be like that. I think without me knowing, it's connected to a certain, memory.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Okay, we are going to take our last question because of time. So this is from Christine Andas. Where or when would you love to wear the new Clean Reserve scents? Risa?
I'd wear it every day at home because I'm happy that I found a floral fragrance that I actually
That
enjoy.
suits
And
them.
every time I test a new fragrance, actually, since we've always been home the past few days, the past 2 years, um, my, what I do now is I also ask my daughters, what do you think of this scent? And oh, I love it. It smells like, for them, smells like candies, or it smells like um, the flowers in the field. So, I'm kind of like introducing them also to the world of fragrance, so that maybe one day when they grow up, they have their own beauty habits, and fragrance is not a stranger to them, and it's also going to be part of their beauty habits and their wardrobe.
Yeah, and they should also shouldn't be afraid of floral as well, right? I used to be afraid of floral, but the more I use it and when I mixed it, I mean, especially the Lush Flow with the Radiant
Yan.
Nectar, and they're actually both floral families, but that the Radiant Nectar seems to have like a bit of a muskier feel, so it's just so nice to wear both or separately. The Lush Flow, especially during the day, just for the fun of it. How about you, Pam?
Same. The Lush Fleur is for everyday, usually during the like lunch, for example, if I'm meeting friends at home, when I'm walking around my area, my neighborhood. The other one, which is the skin, so it's floral with musky sort of note to it, which I think is more my personality, which I think I'll be wearing every day and when I travel. And I think, again, the floral scent works very well with our tropical weather. So there's really no proper occasion to wearing clean reserve, to be honest. I mean, you can wear it anytime. And again, there are no rules when it comes to scent. I think the only rule is what works for you. So it has to be personal.
What works for you? How about you, Cherry?
I wear them every day because I just love the smell, especially when I layer it with Radiant Nectar. It feels so subtle. The smell is so subtle. Alam mo, hindi matapang that other people would complain about your smell. This one, especially when you layer them, it's yeah. When other people's like, oh my, sakit ng ulo. But this one, it smells so subtle,
It's
especially
true.
when you buy them. So it's very kind to other people, and and for me also, like
Kind to other people.
Love
yeah, it's
that.
feel kind to other people because it's so subtle and you can wear it every day. And I went out one last night, and I I layered both of them, and I did the dub right. So I put like around 9 in the morning, and I forgot to put perfume at night because I was rushing and meeting. And my friend said, "Your smell is so nice." I said, "Oh gosh, I put it like 9 a.m. in the morning and still there because I was experimenting on the dubbing, right? I was telling you." So I said, "Oh, it was effective." And I really, really love the combination, the layering, because the subtle effect is so kind to other, people, your seatmates, wherever you go.
Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you, Pam, Risa, and Cherry. It was just so wonderful chatting with you and for sharing with us your sensory experiences. Everyone is really unique, and I just really love how you shared just all these like little anecdotes that are just so helpful and great advice for our viewers. And thank you also to everyone who asked questions for our ladies. But before we end, of course, now it's time for me to announce the raffle with the three winners who answered how does perfume boost your confidence? And the winners are Anna Marie, Gianna Lanting, and EJ Tabora. Congratulations to our three winners. You win a bottle of Clean Reserve fragrances, and our team will reach out to you on how you can claim your prizes. So before we go, and before we say goodbye, we would like to bring you back to what today's advocacy is all about. Everyone, let us please watch this.
We've once again partnered with earthday.org to help bring awareness to the importance of protecting one of the planet's most important inhabitants, the butterflies. We sponsored Earth Day Network's Protect Our Species campaign to help them continue their work raising global awareness of the plight of endangered species and the environment. To create more Flutter, we offered a limited edition Protect the Butterflies design for the launch of Lush Fleur. Inspired by a flower's delicate petals, the sheer and luminous scent captivates the senses. Sparkling citrus notes and a playful touch of raspberry blend with the translucent floral heart, wrapped in a weightless cloud of musk. Lush Fleur is from the fresh floral family. Top notes, mandarin and raspberry. Middle notes, gardenia and damask rose. And dry down of amber and musk. Our partner sources sustainable damask rose from Turkey, helping to ensure fair trade pricing and traditional production methods in villages with long histories of harvesting this precious flower. Lush Fleur pairs particularly well with Skin Reserve Blend to add a soft, cozy warmth, or Radiant Nectar to create a vibrant floral experience. None of our fragrances would be possible without these little pollinators, so join us in protecting the butterflies.
There you have it, a beautiful reminder from Clean Reserve Lush Fleur. Let's all support Earth Day in their initiatives to protect the planet and butterflies. We only have this earth as our home. And thank you again to our speakers, Pam Quiñones, Rissa Mananquil Trillo, and Cherrie Atilano for an enlightening talk. So lucky to have had you here. Thank you. And thanks again for joining us, everyone. I'm Anne Gauthier, and this has been Tatler Talks Flutter for Change, brought to us by Tatler Philippines and Clean Reserve. Stay safe and healthy, everyone.